Okay, I'm Bob with Metal Master Kingdom, and I'm here with the Bobby Blitz of Overkill.
What do you say? What's going on?
All right. Is it true? Overkill, the band name, was that taken from a Motorhead song?
I think to some degree. I mean, we're obviously Motorhead fans, still are to this day. We've covered the song Overkill by Motorhead. I actually sang it with Lemmy in 2007 in Berlin. So that I got the verses correct, I wrote the first word down on each of each verse on my forearm, and Lemmy came across and yelled at me, "Fucking cheat notes." So we're big Motorhead fans.
Yeah. All right. You had your roots in punk. Am I correct?
Huh?
Okay. How did you make that transition to metal?
Well, you know, the punk scene when we were in our late teens in New York was just incredible. I mean, it was this, there's a great book out by a guy named Legs McNeil who wrote for a magazine. It was just called Punk, out of, I think it was a Connecticut guy, but it would cover the New York punk scene. The book's called Please Kill Me.
Okay.
And you want anything about that era that we were in, I mean, it's all about the Ramones and the Dead Boys and the New York Dolls and television, and Blondie started showing up. And I mean, we were like in our late teens, going to universities down the city, and it was a big deal to see these bands, you know.
Right.
And I think that what happened is that the new wave of British heavy metal kind of flew over the Atlantic, and we kind of fused the two together. You know, that punk energy and that, I don't know, I guess the musicianship of bands like Iron Maiden or Tank,
right,
or, you know, so it was Angel Witch. So it was a good time, you know, for music. It was a birth of a new scene, even though we were into the punk scene at the time.
Okay. I ask every musician this question when I interview them, because I get some really interesting answers. If you couldn't be a musician, what would you be doing right now?
Used cars, obviously. I could put you in this 1979 Dodge for $200 a month.
All right. Okay. This is a personal question here. I read somewhere you were kicked out of Overkill for a few days back in 1983. What happened?
Oh, I was a drunken bastard. I mean, it was just... we're gonna cut to the chase here. You know, the name Blitz kind of fit me back then. It was... I just couldn't keep my shit together. You know,
okay.
I was one of those guys that would fall off the stage and not show up for rehearsals, and people would ask me how long it took me to get to rehearsal. It would take them 45 minutes. It would take me 6 beers. You know,
Okay.
So that's where that came from.
Okay. All right. You're a pioneer of thrash. Just tell me, how cool is it to know that you helped create a brand new music genre?
You know, I don't know if we helped create it. I mean, we were there, obviously, but there was no plan. I mean, you have to understand that the plan was being made up as we went along. You know, the idea wasn't like, oh, we're going to do this. What ended up happening was this happened, and then that became part of the rules. So there was no forethought to it. You know, you can't take credit if it's not a plan. It was more action versus reaction.
Okay.
But to be there at the beginning is, you know, obviously, you know, a great honor, first and foremost. And secondary, I think that, you know, as something's being created, it becomes really exciting when you're involved in it.
Yeah.
Don't know what the fuck we're creating. And, you know, the other side of the coin is it's still, you know, it's tripping our trigger and making our eyes wide. So that's, you know, that was when I think back on it, I always think of like, wow, it's just great to be there with no plan, because it kind of took form.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. And there's something I did not realize, and I'm a big horror movie fan, but I read that Hatchet 2 slasher film, you got soundtrack credit for that. Is that right?
I don't know that.
You don't know that?
No, I don't know that.
I'm going to go back and look.
I'm going to go back and look at it. I mean, if you get stuff off Wikipedia, you know, it's like that. It's that thing, you know, where the girl dates the French model, and he comes up with those bonjour, you know, and he's really this cat from New York. It's you know.
Well, I got it from IMDb, but
it's possible.
It's possible. People can edit that. Yeah.
You can edit it. To my knowledge, no. At this point, we were in another movie, and I forget the name of it. Oh God! It was kind of a karate movie. It was Asian cat, maybe a Jackie Chan movie or something.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in something that he had done, but I don't remember the slasher movie.
Okay.
Hatchet. Yeah.
Okay. How do you get inspired to write your music?
Well, I mean, I like doing it. You know, I mean, you're looking at. I'm writing it here on the road, so it's. You know, the idea is that if you love it, I think it just kind of comes. You know, and it's. I think the hardest thing to do after as many records as we have is not, you know, repeat myself.
Right.
And I think especially lyrically, that's really important to not. You know, there's a fine line between style and repetition.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I mean, for me, that's why I like writing on the road, because it's inspiring to be able to do a show, for instance, in Louisville or Toronto or in New York, and then come out and finish tune. You know, I mean, that's like, I mean, you have that, like, you know, it's on your lips, it's, you know, it's in your head, it's in your gut, so that's why I like doing it on the road.
Okay. How many songs do you throw away compared to how many that become a finished product?
Well, you know, the boys do 10 every time, and then they do a bonus track, and then we figure out some cover songs. I throw away almost everything I do. Everything I put to those songs, usually I throw away 9 versions of it before I'm satisfied with one. Okay. And that's based on that repetition factor, you know, whether it be repetitive or whether it be style.
Okay. Bobby Ellsworth. That's a great name for a blues artist. Do you ever get the blues and write music?
Like the blues?
Yeah.
I guess everybody gets the blues at one time or another. I'm usually a pretty upbeat person. You know, I mean, it's. I don't like writing when I'm depressed.
Okay.
I think it really, you know, Overkill's about a certain energy. You know, it's more that if you can capture that energy, that's what Overkill's all about. So I really, when I'm not feeling, you know, when I'm hovering somewhere around 85%, I'm not turning the studio on.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And now I've got some fan questions.
Okay.
People contacted me to want to know, you got any live albums planned here soon?
We're renegotiating contract right now, and one of the elements in that contract is library. So, so I think that will happen for us. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another fan question. He wants to know what it was like opening for Slayer back in the day.
Well, it was really cool because we were kind of cut from the same cloth. I mean, they were kind of West Coast, we were East Coast. We're obviously different bands, but we knew the guys. You know, we even knew them before we did the tour. You know, we would go to their shows when they came to New York. We did a one-off show with them in Long Island before we toured with them. So the idea for me was that it was comfortable, first and foremost. You know, that we had personalities that matched. And that's always the thing. I mean, you know, being on the road with Creator right now, for instance, is a great feeling because, again, we're cut from the same cloth and we have the same principles and values. Pretty much the same with Slayer. Okay,
all right. Another fan was wondering, how was your health?
Health's good. Have to watch it, obviously.
Yeah.
Lost the tobacco for almost over a year now.
Okay.
Not almost over a year now.
Great.
Everything else seems to be going pretty good. I mean, it's not like it's, you know, I never think of myself as an unhealthy person, even though to some degree I probably am. But I've just had a few crosses to bear, like other people have.
Right.
You know, I mean, everybody's got something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's, mine just happened to be public.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm sure you can tell me stories.
I could. You want to see my art now? Yeah. Is it true you only have one lung?
No.
Okay,
true.
I got to go back and see who asked that. Why he asked that.
No. I've had pneumonia, and that was my last health problem, and obviously that affected my lungs pretty heavily. But I don't have one lung.
Okay. It'd be kind of hard to sing like that, wouldn't it?
2 balls too.
Oh, and my last fan question, it was the song Skull and Bones. Where do those lyrics come from?
Well, Skull and Bones is actually, it came out of Yale University. It's Skull and Bones is a secret society of American, much like you know, the Freemasons.
Right. The Illuminati.
To be able to get into Skull and Bones, you had to be initiated in. You had to be able to keep secrets. Presidents have been in there. Bush is a Skull and Bones guy, for instance. You know, I'm not an anti-Bush guy, but the theory of Skull and Bones is about there is so many people who actually run the world, and you're actually working for them.
Exactly.
That's really what it comes down to. But that's where Skull and Bones came from, out of Yale University up in New England.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is, I like this type of question too, because I want to get this idea across to certain people. Drugs and alcohol are greatly associated with the music business.
Sure.
What advice do you have to tell these young musicians starting out today about drugs and alcohol?
Well, you know, I mean, it obviously can fuel the fire sometimes, you know? I mean, sometimes you do your best stuff when you're a little loaded, but sometimes.
Yeah.
I always think that moderation is the key to anything. I've really never told people how to live their lives. I mean,
Right.
for me, I can tell you how I live my life as opposed to saying, hey, you should do this. And I try to do it with moderation. You can't do this at 54 years old and be drunk and stoned all the time.
Yeah,
It's just not possible to do. So,
Okay.
so I suppose that if the proof is in the pudding, moderation is the key.
Okay. All right, I'm just about done here with my questions. Just anything you'd like to tell your fans right now.
I love them.
All right.
I never considered them fans. I always considered them friends.
All right. Okay.
Hey, what'd you say? This is Bobby Blitz from Overkill. That's right. I'm on Metal Master Kingdom. You stay right where you are. You're in the right place.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.